We are now only 2 months away from Apple revealing the Series 10 Apple Watch, which is bringing something we've never had before on the standard watch models, which is gonna be a huge upgrade opportunity for many of you guys out there. But before I dig into the latest leaks, including 5 major changes, I've gotta give you a bit of a warning. Some of you might actually be better off waiting an additional year to upgrade based on a new leak from Mark Gurman, so if you want all the details, definitely stick through this entire video so you're fully informed. Let's jump right into change number 1, which is larger displays. Yes, Mark Gurman confirmed the existence of 2 new Apple Watch models codenamed N217 and N218, both with larger displays than what we have currently. Mark said that the larger one is gonna have a 2-inch display, which is kind of crazy because the current one we have on the Ultra is 1.93 inches, so apparently it's gonna be bigger than the Ultra's display. And about a month ago, Ming-Chi Kuo confirmed that the Series 10 is gonna have larger screens as well. He said that the small version will go from 41 millimeters to 45, which is crazy. The large one's gonna go from 45 to 49. And the interesting thing here is that the Ultra is marketed at 49 millimeters. So what if that 2-inch display is actually just rounded up and it comes with, let's say, the same exact 1.93 inch display as the Ultra? To me, that makes more sense because Apple just has to manufacture one display for 2 models. Now let's get into change number 2, which is a thinner design. Both Ming-Chi Kuo and Mark Gurman have said that the design of the new Apple Watch Series 10 is going to be thinner. Now this makes sense because if the case itself is going to be getting bigger and wider, you essentially get more internal space, so Apple can redesign the battery the same way, making it thinner and wider. Now in my personal opinion, I don't really mind the extra thickness because I have the Ultra and it is a thick boy of a watch, especially compared to the Series 9, and it doesn't bother me at all, so I personally don't mind, but I can see how other people, like let's say women or teens, would probably like it thinner for the aesthetics and the style, to not have something that sticks out like this. Now for change number 3, we just got CAD files and leaked schematics that show that there is unfortunately no major redesign to how the Apple Watch works. Unfortunately, Mark Gurman this past Sunday confirmed that the design itself is unlikely to look much different for the Series 10 Apple Watch. Now this really sucks because for months, Mark Gurman has been hinting at a massive redesign, the biggest design change ever for the Apple Watch, where Apple was supposed to completely redesign the band mechanism to work with magnets instead of what we have right now, making it easier to put on and take off, and also allowing other exclusive features. Now looking at those leaked schematics and CADs, you can see that the band mechanism is the same as it currently is, and also for some reason, the specs are showing that the Apple Watch is gonna be thicker at roughly 11.6 millimeters. So what if that thinner watch isn't coming this year, but next year? So stick around until the end of this video if you wanna hear my theory on why this year's Series 10 isn't getting that band mechanism redesign. Now moving on to change number 4, we have the new chip, which should be called the S10, and that's a leak from Mark Gurman, which a lot of people didn't think we'd get a new chip because we just got the S9, but we are getting the S10. Why? Well, likely because we now have 3nm chip technology in all of Apple's products. The iPhone, the Macs now have 3nm, so maybe they want to match all the other chips. Mark Gurman also said that this could lay the groundwork for some AI enhancements down the road, but Apple currently has no plans to bring the full set of Apple Intelligence features to the Apple Watch. And my take is that it makes sense. You usually have your phone on you when you have your Apple Watch. And on top of that, I also believe that Apple Intelligence requires 8 gigs of RAM, which is why why it only supports the iPhone 15 Pro models and not the regular 15 that only has 6 gigs of RAM. And as far as the chip itself, I think we're getting it because Apple wants to help save battery life despite having bigger and brighter displays all the time. So good job, Apple, for continually pushing it. And now for change number 5, we have something about the Apple Watch Ultra 3, which is unfortunately gonna have basically no changes. Mark Gurman says no major redesign to the Apple Watch Ultra, so expect the same display, the same overall design, how it looks. Nothing is going to change. The only thing we're really getting this year is gonna be that new S10 chip. However, I am expecting Apple to give us that new black finish for the Ultra 3, since the current one only comes in the natural titanium color. Now, we had a lot of really solid leaks last year with multiple sources saying that Apple was working on a black titanium model for the Ultra 2, but that never came, likely because they delayed it because they needed something cool to happen this year, which is probably what we're gonna get with that black model. And we also have a bunch of evidence, like we now have the iPhone 15 Pro in black titanium, and we also have the new M4 iPad Pro in a space black, so we will surely get a black Ultra 3 this year. And now with all the changes out of the way, I wanna answer the most important question that you need to hear if you're trying to decide between upgrading later this year or waiting till next year. And that question is, why is there no major redesign this year like we all expected? Well, there are 2 reasons. Number 1 is that Mark Gurman explained that Apple could be doing this redesign for the 10-year anniversary edition. But if you look back at the history at the original Apple Watch, it was revealed in September of 2014, so 10 years ago, but it didn't actually ship until a few months later in April of 2015. So Apple technically could hold off on their big redesign until 2025 and still use that 10th anniversary excuse. And for the second reason, this one actually makes a whole lot more sense. Mark Gurman said that the new blood pressure monitoring and sleep apnea features ran into some serious snags, so they're not gonna be ready this year. So what if the brand new Apple Watch redesign was built with those new health features in mind? So they had no choice but to come up with a middle ground or half update for this year, featuring a new chip, larger displays, etc. My theory is that those new health features will require a special electronically connected band, like one that houses an additional sensor on the inside of your wrist to measure blood pressure properly, and that band will require the new magnetic band system, which also supports pass-through power. And yes, Apple has a bunch of patents for this type of technology. So if any of that interests you, including potentially a bunch of other unique bands, then you should definitely wait until next year to upgrade. But if you don't really care about those features, and especially if you have a ton of Apple Watch bands in your collection, this will likely be the last upgrade you can make that'll support all of your bands. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and if you learned something new, let me know your thoughts on the redesign down in the comment section below, and definitely subscribe for more videos like this one. If you want to see some iPhone 16 leaks, check that out right there. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.